So come to lay down on your back. And just make sure you have enough room to open your arms out to the side, right and left. And you can have your knees bent or straight with your legs flat on the floor. But tune into the sensations in your low back. And from your low back, maybe even like sacrum, all the way up, what kind of information that's transmitting to your shoulders. And then maybe adjust. You might just need to bring a little bit of movement to your legs or change the position of your legs in order to sense the most coherence possible between your lower back and your upper. And when I say coherence, I think I mean like each section of your spine is in agreement about what it's doing. There's not one part of your spine that is like, I don't really want to be here, because that will impact mobility and integrity. Much like it goes with our layers of being. So I'm going to invite the intention of creating coherence today with this practice between physical, emotional, and spiritual bodies, with the intention of moving through the world with a little more integrity. Make a really simple adjustment here in the position of your head. If you can imagine a really gentle, loving touch cradling the base of your skull and just providing a little more length to the back of your neck. See if you can create that length without doing a lot of muscular work in the front of your throat. And then feel into this length in the back of your neck and how now the back of your neck communicates length and presence all down the length of your spine, between your shoulders, at your ribs, lower back, and into sacrum. Feeling for coherence. Bring your focus up to the base of your skull. And as much as you can, work in the imaginal realm. Imagine and visualize your head rotating to the right. So don't actually move your head just yet. Instead, feel for the possibility of movement and visualize your head turning to the right. Come back into awareness and focus on sensation. And without engaging a muscular pull on the right side of your neck, see about the possibility of turning your head to the right. So as soon as you notice the neck muscles pull, or even the chest or shoulder get involved, stop. And you just want to visualize until you can actually create the movement without muscular effort. Go really slowly. Be really graceful with your internal dialogue here. Words of affirmation, even encouragement. You may even want or need to recall that gentle, loving touch, keeping length in the neck. Notice how far you've been able to turn your head without a lot of muscular effort, and note that. And softly, without much effort from the other side of your neck, come back to center. That may have been a micro movement. So rest here for a moment. I feel the urge to move my arms, to stretch them out. You might sense an urge to move your body in some way. Give a big deep breath and anchor your attention once again in the base of your skull. For the next 3-4 breaths, simply imagine rotating your head to the left. And rotating your head back to center. Take a moment and tune into the baseline level of tension in the left side of your neck. Maybe in anticipation of instruction, there's a little tension there, or quick grip. As much as you can, let that just melt away, and consider the possibility, perhaps even start to move your head in rotation to the left. Notice where your body wants to pull or force or hurry. What does it feel like emotionally to pause? Is there any part of you that is okay with this? Is there some part of you that is not okay with this? And to whatever degree you've rotated your head to the left with softness, with a lot of weight in the skull, bring your head back to center. Give a long, deep breath to your body. Oh. Notice any spontaneous urge to move. And then take your own fingertips to your own neck and really gently drag your fingertips with whatever pressure feels good from the base of your neck to the base of your skull. Notice where you want to be touched. And if there's pleasure in it, interlace your fingers behind your head with your thumbs resting right at the base of your skull. There's a little indentation there just to the right and left of your spinal insertion. And with your hands cradled at the skull, lift your head off the floor, but keep it heavy. Point your elbows at the ceiling. And just allow the curves of your thumbs to gently press into those little notches. Imagine like your head is resting in a hammock. The hammock is your hands. You might give a little gentle pull, lengthen your neck, and slowly set your head back down. We'll be on the back for a couple more minutes. Stretch your arms out to the side, really wide now, and arms totally, let's say one long line, so perfectly horizontal. Keep your right palm facing the ceiling, or turn it up if it was down, and rotate your left arm so that your left palm faces or even touches the floor. Inhale long and slow, and as you exhale, turn your head to the right with as little muscular effort as possible. Go really slow, almost like this rotation in your neck was driving the exhale. Stay in this rotation. Inhale and slide your arms away from each other gently. Exhale, turn your head a little more to the right. Make your right ear heavy, almost magnetize it to the floor. Stay for another inhale. Exhale, turn your head a little more to the right. And then inhale, come back to center. Rotate your left arm so that your left hand faces the ceiling. Bend both elbows, point your 10 fingers at the ceiling, and press your elbows down into the floor with about 30% of your effort. Bring the heads of your shoulders back to the ground as you press your elbows into the ground, so don't let your shoulders pop forward. Keep your collarbones really broad. And then lift your feet off the floor. Squeeze your knees and your ankles together. Knees stacked over hips or belly button. And you're going to move your knees to the right about 6 inches. Come through center and go over to the left a few inches. Keep your elbows pressing down. Keep your shoulders pressing back. Try not to grip through your neck, and just sort of tick-tock your knees back and forth a few times. Keeping that effort in the shoulders about 30%, nothing crazy. And then put your feet back down on the ground. Adjust your legs how you want them so you feel coherence between your upper spine and your lower. And then stretch your arms out again. Rotate your right palm to face the ground. That movement starts at your shoulder. And then with eyes soft, you might even close them to soften your gaze. Take a long, slow inhale. And as you exhale, slow motion, start to turn your head to the left. Keeping that left side of your neck really soft. Pause wherever you are. Inhale and imagine your arms being drawn away from one another. As you exhale, rotate your head, your neck more to the left. Keep the left side of your neck, your left shoulder soft. Inhale, widen your chest. Exhale, rotate. Stay for a breath. Inhale, slowly come back to center with your head. Turn both palms to face the ceiling. Bend your elbows so your 10 fingers point up at the ceiling. Press your elbows into the floor. Press your shoulders back down into the floor. Bend your knees and lift your feet off the ground so your knees are stacked over your belly and your ankles are in line with your knees. Engage your low abdomen. Soften your neck and your chest. Tick-tock your knees side to side, just going about 6 inches away from center in either direction. Get curious about the amount of effort you're expending through your spine and all those soft areas that are working coherently or incoherently as well, your throat, your belly, your pelvic floor. And then bring your feet to the ground. Roll over to either side so you can come up to sitting. And sit comfortably. Maybe that's cross-legged, it might be kneeling. You want to feel some sense of coherence between your lower spine and middle back and upper back here too. Rest for a moment with your arms heavy. Your palms can face up or down. If closing your eyes helps them to soften, do that. Inhale and imagine your shoulders moving away from each other. And then with your exhale, allow your pelvis, your ribs, and your jaw to set a little more on your spine. Just set a little more around the central axis of your spine. On your next inhale, reach your arms out to the sides. Turn your right palm up to face the ceiling. Rotate your left arm so your left palm points down at the floor. Inhale and widen your fingertips away from your chest. With your exhale, start to rotate your head to the right without rotating your torso. Inhale, stretch your arms a little further away from center. Exhale, rotate your head a little more without rotating your torso or gripping in your throat. If your eyes are closed, try opening them and see your right fingertips. One more breath here. Inhale back to center, lift your left palm so it faces the ceiling, and as you exhale, just bring your arms down. Keep your arms out straight so you make like a triangle between your arms and your head. Touch the floor with your fingertips. Inhale, sense your shoulders move away from center. And then as you exhale, keep your spine upright but tuck your chin toward your throat. Inhale, widen across your upper back. Exhale, imagine your lower jaw, your tongue getting heavier. One more breath like this. And then inhale, lift your head, lift your arms parallel to the floor. Rotate your left arm so your palm faces the ceiling. Rotate your right arm so your palm faces the floor. Inhale, reach your arms away from each other. And as you exhale, turn your head to the left, nice and slow. Super slow, trying not to tighten the left side of your neck or your shoulder. Inhale, stretch wide. Exhale, turn your head a little more, see your fingertips. One more breath. Inhale to center. Turn your right hand to face the ceiling. As you exhale, lower your arms and then rotate them so your palms face the ground. Your fingertips just barely touch the ground. Keep your elbows straight. Inhale here. This time exhale, lift your chin toward the ceiling while keeping the back of your neck long. Inhale, feel your arms get longer. Exhale, lift your chin toward the ceiling without crunching the back of your neck, without losing length. Soften at the base of your skull. Try to soften your throat and the root of your tongue. See if you can even pour your attention, your sensitivity down the back of your throat, all the way through your belly, into your pelvis. Just sink a little more weight down into the earth as you lift your chin skyward. Bring your head back to neutral, what feels like neutral now. Fold your hands in your lap. Close your eyes if that feels restful. And give yourself a few breaths. Come on to hands and knees. And let yourself get curious here like a cat. Just sort of pad your way through your hands. Get a good sense of the texture of the ground. And feel for the weight distribution between your hands right to left. Find just enough softness in your elbows to really allow there to be some coherence between the palms and your shoulders. So you're touching the floor. Create space in your elbows and then create space in your shoulder heads as well. Inhale, pull isometrically back like you're trying to slide your hands toward your knees. Lift your chest, lengthen your throat. Keep the back of your neck long. As you exhale, do the opposite. Tuck chin toward throat. Push your hands away from you like they were sliding forward. Tuck your tail. Inhale, try to drag your hands back toward your knees. Lift your chin toward the ceiling. Exhale, push your hands away from you. Round your spine like a cat. 3 more. Good. When you're complete with 3 rounds, find your way back to neutral and just joyfully wag your tail back and forth. Move in a way that feels interesting to you. You might do that little cat pad with your palms. Let out any pressure off of your wrists or elbows. Scoot your left hand in 1/2 inch to the right. And with your next inhale, stretch your right arm to the ceiling. Follow your right hand with your eyes unless there's pain in your neck when you do that. Inhale and reach your arms wide apart. Stay for your exhale. Turn your head toward your hand. Inhale again. Exhale, thread your right arm behind your left wrist. Come into twisted child's pose. Rest your head and your shoulder on the floor. If you need to, put a pillow under your head so there's no strain in your neck. Feel into the possibility of your inhale widening your chest. And as you exhale, bring your hip joints toward each other, tone your belly. Keep your throat soft, and even here, see if you can sense a relationship between the root of your tongue and your pelvic floor. Just noticing where there may be a discrepancy between your sensitivity, your awareness, your aliveness, simply to acknowledge that fact. And just through that moment of awareness, your breath can touch more of you. Give yourself an inhale, and on your exhale, make your way back to hands and knees. Bring your knees together, ankles together, sit back on your feet. If your knees or ankles don't like this, then just stand up on your shins. We won't be here for too long. If you can sit on your heels, go ahead and do that. Interlace your fingers together. Flip your palms inside out, straighten your elbows, and then stretch your arms all the way up overhead. Inhale deeply and get wider from your armpits to your hips. As you exhale, get taller from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Inhale, get wider. Almost imagine yourself expanding like one of those good luck Buddhas. And then exhale, lengthen, long and tall through your center. One more breath. Good. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your chest. Close your eyes if they're open. Bow your head slightly forward toward your hands. Give yourself a full breath. And then make your way back onto hands and knees. We'll do this other side. Start with your hands evenly balanced with your body weight. And then scoot your right hand to the left 1/2 inch. It's a really small adjustment. Inhale, reach your left arm to the ceiling and look up at your fingertips. Unless there's pain when you do that, then don't do it. As you inhale, reach your arms away from each other. With your exhale, turn your head a little more to the ceiling from the lift and tone of your abdomen. Inhale. Exhale, thread your left arm behind your right, come down onto the side of your head. You can adjust your right hand so that it's sort of like a kickstand here. Push the floor with your right hand. And inhale, find more width between your collarbones. As you exhale, make your head heavier and draw your navel toward your spine. Tone your belly. One more breath. On your next exhale, come back to hands and knees. We're going to come back to kneeling. This time I'll give you the option. You can sit back just like we did. You can stay standing on your shins or tuck your toes under. Push your knees back, like try to get a really nice tight fold on the toes, and then sit up. Interlace your hands together, maybe take the opposite thumb on top. Send your arms straight out from your chest and then all the way up overhead. As you inhale, sense yourself getting wider, deeper from the pelvis and the ribs, and then exhale taller from your tail rooting down to your skull stretching up. And 2 more breaths like that with that awareness. Notice if there's any area, your rectum, pelvic floor, abdomen, throat, face, where you sort of crimp shut and keep your breath from flowing. It's a matter of noticing that tendency. Release your arms, come to hands and knees. This time, walk your knees back so they're not just underneath your hips, they're actually behind your hips about 6 inches. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees for downward dog. I think there's a lot of room for variation in downward dog. I think that's important about this pose. So really feel for groundedness and expansiveness. The quality of being grounded through your limbs, hands and feet weighted, but then levity, buoyancy in your chest, your belly, your butt. If it helps, you can sway your tail back and forth, move around if that brings you pleasure. Bend both of your knees slightly if they're not already. Look forward between your hands and step your right foot between your hands. Come into a lunge, pretty straightforward. Right knee bent at 90 degrees, left leg straight as an arrow. Engage your left glutes. Bring your left hand flat to the ground if you can. If not, stay up on fingertips. Turn to the right, reach your right arm up to the ceiling. As you breathe in, get wider between your arms. And as you exhale, hug your right butt cheek and your left inner thigh towards each other. Inhale, reach wide with your chest. Turn your head from the strength of your legs, not the clench in your teeth, not extra effort in your neck. 1 more breath. Inhale, bring your right hand down to the ground. Step forward with your left foot, come into a forward bend. Your knees can stay really, really bent if that allows you to relax your head, or legs straight if you're ready for that, and hug your legs in towards each other. With a gentle bend in your knees, put your hands down on either side of your feet and step your right leg back into a lunge. Make sure your left knee is bent at 90 degrees. Right leg straight as an arrow, engage your right glutes. Inhale, get wider in your chest. Exhale, hug your inner thighs towards each other. And then on your next breath in, twist to the left. Right hand can go flat or stay on fingertips. Left arm straight up to the ceiling, look at your fingertips. As you breathe in, get wider through your chest. Exhale, hug your left butt cheek and your right inner thigh towards each other. Let the strength of your legs support your neck and head. On your next inhale, bring your left hand down and step back to downward facing dog. Come down onto your hands and your knees. Bring your knees together to touch. And then, we're going to do it a little differently. I'll face you. Keep your knees going straight ahead. Push your butt all the way back to your heels. Walk your hands forward like you would have them for downward facing dog. Push the floor, lift your elbows, lift your armpits. Take this exact posture in your torso, 45 degrees to the right. So as much as you can, line up your shoulders with your wrists. You'll probably need to lift your ribs up and over your right thigh a little bit. Push the floor with your hands, lift your elbows, lift your armpits, and then hug your hips back onto your feet. Get really tight in your knees, and then any amount, crawl yourself forward. Little spider hands, maybe even make them like suction cups, come up under your fingertips, and pull your torso forward. Lower your head, rest your neck. And if you want more sensation of stretch in the left side of your spine, bend your right elbow and put your hand flat on the ground under your shoulder. Push into the twist a little more with your right hand pushing into the floor. Bend both elbows, bring yourself up to or upright in your spine. Take the pressure off your legs for a moment, send them straight out in front of you, and just wag your knees up and down a few times. You can bounce them against the floor, that feels pretty good. Come back to kneeling. Hug your knees towards each other, hug your ankles in. Come forward with your hands on the mat. Push the floor with your hands, lift your elbows, lift your armpits. Start to walk your way to the left or just up and over about 45 degrees. Keep your left butt cheek pulling back, right butt cheek pulling back and down. And then any amount, crawl your fingers away from your ribs. Feel that stretch. You want to keep your belly engaged, your abdomen toned. You might need to lift your ribs up and over your left thigh. And just tune into the amount of effort creeping into your face, your neck. Allow the tone in your abdomen to give more freedom to your face, your throat, your tongue. If you want a little more stretch on the right side, bend your left elbow, push your palm straight down into the ground, and lean into your right side ribs. Bend both of your elbows, lift your torso upright, and then come back to Dandasana, seated with your legs stretched out in front of you. I'll turn to the side. So with your legs straight out in front of you, just notice what's happening in your lower back, and if there's a convex curve, bend your knees and kind of walk your butt cheeks apart until you have a little concave curvature in your low back. Nothing dramatic. You might need to keep your knees bent. If your legs are straight and you've got this little lumbar curve, really strengthen your legs. Squeeze them together and press the backs of your thighs down into the ground. Even see if you can engage your butt cheeks. If your knees are bent, just keep them bent and you're going to use more abdomen. Inhale and stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Stay in this position for your exhale. Imagine your tailbone plunging into the ground beneath you as your skull stretches skyward. Inhale and feel your depth. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hip joints, just about 30 degrees. Whether your legs are straight or bent, if there's pain, stop. Put your arms down, support yourself with more ground. If there's not pain, take another long, slow, deep breath in. Feel your depth in your hips. Exhale, reach forward and come down about another 30 degrees. Keep your legs strong. Inhale. Exhale, forward. Any amount closer to your legs. Your hands can come down at any time. If your hands are at or past your feet, you can interlace your hands around your feet or just hold your big toes, your foot blades, and take another long, slow breath. With this exhale, give weight to your head, give weight to your tongue, give weight to your ribs, give weight to your butt. Keep your legs strong and active, and feel for coherence. the effort in your legs does not translate to gripping in your face or a closing of your mind. Rather, the strength of your legs supports a softening and a sense of expansion. One more breath. Bring your hands to the floor outside your knees. Help yourself up to sitting. Lean back into your hands. Your fingers can point forward or out to the side, but not back. So forward or out to the side. And then bend both of your knees. Put your feet where your knees were on the ground. Scoot your butt forward so it's really close to your feet. You can stay here and lift your butt up off the floor. If that doesn't feel appropriate for your joints, lay down on your back and you'll come into bridge pose. Push the floor with both hands and both feet evenly. Inhale, lift your pelvis. Look down the front of your body. Hug in with your legs. Imagine there was a ball between your knees so they don't actually touch. And then slowly push down and out with your hands. Widen your collarbones. If there's no pain and you can breathe evenly, start to lengthen your neck and even let your head fall back. But make sure you're not collapsing in your neck or your throat. Keep pressing down and through your feet. Hug your thighs in towards one another. Big breath in. Exhale, lengthen from your knees to your shoulders. And then come down. Move your left foot away from you about 6 inches. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Good. And then bend your left knee again. Find your sweet spot. Make sure your right ankle is super flexed. You can scoot your butt closer to your foot. Or if you don't like this, come down onto your back and just do thread the needle, resting on your spine. As you inhale, feel your depth. Sense your tailbone sinking into the ground. Exhale, tone your belly a little bit. See if you can straighten your arms. The tone of your legs, the tone of your abdomen is in support of that sense of belonging to yourself, belonging to your body, belonging to this earth. It's sort of an affirmation of where you are in space and time. Not a clenching or clamping or locking. Just notice the quality present in your tone. Bend your elbows, slide your left leg straight, slide your right leg straight, sit up and shake out your wrists. Like you're shaking water off your hands. And then we'll do that on the other side. And we'll be off the wrists. So lean back, bend your right knee most of the way. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh, and you can always come down onto your back. Bend your right knee a little more of the way. Maybe scoot your butt up to your right heel. Flex your left ankle. Inhale, relax your hips. As you exhale, straighten your arms, lift your chest. Inhale. And with your exhale, find a little tone in your abdomen that allows you to soften your jaw and relax the flesh on top of your shoulders. And then bend your elbows, slide both legs out straight. Come up off your hands and shake out your wrists again. And try this one. Like you're really spraying water, you flick using your thumb against your other 4 fingers, the fingernails. Yeah, and just go kind of with as much pressure as you can, and notice what it's like to actually wake up your hands in this way and use your fingers. Okay. Bring your palms together. Brush the palms really, really firmly. You can cross your legs if that's a comfortable way to sit. Create a lot of warmth in your hands. And then just place your hands over your chest. So maybe just above your nipple line. Place your fingertips against your collarbones. Rest your elbows. Inhale, and rather than sensing your chest move up into your hands, imagine this kind of melting and widening. And as you exhale, actually sense your chest lift up into your hands, buoyed by the strength of your center, your relationship to the earth. Start to count silently the length of your inhale, and see if you can make your exhale last the same amount of time. Make any adjustment you need to feel safe in your breath. After a few rounds, you might find that you can lengthen the breath count a little. Find your sweet spot. Keep breathing in this way and listen for what's coming. You're going to inhale the full length of your breath count, maybe even a count longer, and you're going to exhale in half the time. So there's a little more effort behind the exhale. Doesn't need to be forceful, but you want to get all the breath out in half the time it took you to inhale, and we'll do that 5 times. Keep your breath in and out through the nostrils. When you're done, rest your hands in your lap or wherever feels good to you. Let go of any technique on the breath. With curiosity, observe sensation in the body. Temperature, texture, and energetic quality. Notice your overall tone of tissue, tone of feeling or mood. Notice if there's any awareness of or feeling of something bigger than you, a sense of yourself beyond the body. How does that show up for you? Finally, tune in to the part of yourself that is really speaking clearly to you in this moment, and place one or both hands there. It could be a body part. It might be a part of you where you sense sort of a part of your body kind of represents, or you just connect to it that way. You know, when I touch my stomach, I'm not necessarily touching my digestive organs. Same with my chest. So just tune into that. What part of you wants to be held right now? And hold it. Acknowledge it. With a tender, gentle bow of your head, give yourself your full attention for a few more moments. Perhaps silently muttering a prayer or an expression of gratitude. And silently creating for yourself a plan for how you will integrate this practice, this experience into whatever is asked of you next, today, this week, the rest of this year. Do you need to write? Do you need to rest? Do you need to bounce on a trampoline? Do you need to eat? What can you do? How can you take an action to integrate from this space, this awareness, into the rest? Tip your chin a little lower. Blink your eyes open slowly. See your space, your seat, yourself. Start to take in a little more of your space slowly with your eyes. Take it all in. And for the rest of your day, take really, really good care of yourself.